All right, guys, it is time for the wild card predictions. We're not just doing a tier list here. We're making full-on predictions. We're going to go through every match. We're going to go through all the teams, and we're going to decide who we think comes out on top here. Now, the interesting thing about this wildcard slot, different from M5 wildcards, is that only one team moves on. And honestly, the most savage and interesting thing about this wildcard is that almost most of the favorites, at least in my opinion, are in Group B, which means it's kind of sad almost because we won't get to see a big best of 3 or best of 5 or whatever, for that final slot between two, of the possible top teams. That being said, maybe we see something crazy. Maybe we see a huge upset. Maybe a team from Group A makes it. But just a little bit of a spoiler, I do think a team from Group B is the one we got to keep our eyes on here. There's multiple decent teams. I already dropped a tier list video. If you guys want to go watch that first before you watch this, feel free to. Or if you just want to skip to the juicy stuff, here you are. Don't forget to like and subscribe, guys. I really do appreciate it. Let's jump right into it. Now, as we see in Group A, we have Zenith, Keep Best Gaming, Entity 7, and S2G Esports. In Group B, IHC Esports, aka Lil Gun, Train to Kill Esports, Homebois, and BruteForce. We're not going to waste too much time. We're going to jump right into the games. Now, on day one, the schedule for wildcard will be first game. This is actually my first time looking at all this exactly. First game, KBG versus S2G. Battle of the G's, baby. Now, if you guys watch my tier list video, you already know that I kind of have high hopes for KBG this time. I think there are some possibilities for them. The only worry here is that it is their first game on stage. They're up against S2G. They do have Sasa, though, and this already is kind of a tough match because, honestly, I kind of put these two teams on the same pedestal. And the real question of all our minds is, does China have what it takes just yet? Have they really elevated themselves to that point? I think KBG could come out on top of groups, possibly. I don't know. That's tough, man. That's really tough. I want KBG here to win, but I have a feeling S2G is going to be able to take this. I don't know, man. It's a best of 1. Sasa is the jungler. If this was a best of 3, I think I might give it to S2G, but I'm going to get a little spicy here, and I think KBG is going to take the dub here, putting them a solid point on the scoreboard. Now, after that match is going to be Entity 7 up against Zenith. Now, this is a match that, honestly, I feel like may actually be kind of close. I think out of Group A, these two teams are possibly on equal footing. Entity 7 coming from the Latam region, being the second place in the Latam region, and not really being that close to RRQ Akira. They're kind of far behind them. And then for Zenith, I feel like being from the Mekong region, Mekong's always kind of had bad showings. But, last year we saw BTR Brazil just not even able to take a single game. And I'm wondering if Entity 7 is going to be able to keep up. Entity 7 supposedly is kind of a newer team, kind of thrown together last minute. They were able to, come through and have a Cinderella story, making it to wildcards in Latam. But again, Latam, I don't know, man. We'll see. I personally, I think I got to give this game to Zenith, giving them a point on the board. I'm not going to go too deep into teams and exactly why they're going to win. I might break some more stuff down as we move forward, but some of the games that for me maybe aren't huge, aren't extreme deciders, will kind of keep it simple. Like I said, again, I made a tier list. You guys can go kind of check out my real breakdown on teams down the line. After that is S2G versus Zenith. And for this one, I think S2G is possibly one of the forerunners of this group. I think they're a possible team that can take Group A. I don't think Zenith is going to be able to take the dub here, especially in a best of 1. They will be coming off kind of hot because they'll be able to play back to back. So that is kind of an advantage from them. But I do think S2G will be able to take this game. I'm going to put a point on the board for S2G. So currently, it'll be 1 to 1 to 1 to 1. After that, we go into later on in day 1 is Entity 7 up against KBG. Now, given the fact that KBG won their game earlier, I think they're going to be a strong team in this group. I think we might get surprised by them. I think China might finally be a little bit ready. They've been playing with players from Southeast Asia region. Yes, it's also, yes, it's a Malaysian player, but still, I think, it's not like they drafted in some Filipinos or anything like that. I still think it's kind of huge. I think just having someone that is used to, world stage experience, things like that, I think there's good possibilities that the rest of the players are picking up fast. With that being said, and with what I've already kind of said about my feelings on 97, I do think KBG will take this game, giving KBG 2 points. Again, if all of these weren't best of ones, I think there'd be a lot more possibilities. But I think with it being best of ones, it's going to be fast paced. It's going to be moving. We'll see exactly what happens. After that, Zeno Zenith up against KBG once again. I think KBG is going to take it, man. I think the more I'm not going to lie, I did not prep coming into these predictions, and right now I'm putting KBG as they've pretty much won already. That's it. GG's 3-0. They 3-0. I feel like they may lose to S2G. Maybe I give a dub over to S2G here, and it comes 2-2, and they have to have a tiebreaker. But I think that's kind of that at that point. S2G, I think, are going to be able to beat Entity 7, giving them 2 points. And yeah, I think that's it for Group A. I think Group A might be a bit closer. We might see some other losses, but I think S2G and Keep Best Gaming are kind of going to end up dominating in the end on that. Now this, though, Group B is where things get real interesting. Real interesting, honestly. I think it's going to be bonkers, but hey, let's jump into it. Group B, BruteForce up against IHC. Now, IHC, if you guys don't know, it's Team Lil Gun. They had a lot of eyes on them during M5. They were able to make it out wild card. They did fall short in groups, but still, they kept the same exact roster. They've been doing nothing but building synergy for the past 6 months or so, plus the synergy they built before M5. I mean, and they've been picked up. I think this is a team we got to keep our eyes on. I think this is definitely a favorite coming out of groups, and I think they can take the dub here over BruteForce, especially in a best of one. Maybe, I mean, again, quick thing to say is with this new patch, anything could happen. Any one of these teams could pull something out of their pocket that just blows the other team out of the water. It could be crazy. Who knows? But let's keep it real. I think IHC just has more experience, has more synergy. I think they're going to be able to take that one, and it's going to give them a point on the board. After that, we have T2K up against IHC. Nepal region, I'm sorry. Unless they do something to blow me away, I don't think they're going to be able to keep up with Mongolia. I don't think they're going to be able to keep up with IHC. I think honestly, this is an easy dub. I think, I'm not going to lie, let you know, I think everybody's going to, I think Train to Kill might not win a single game in their group. I think IHC, BruteForce, and Homebois are all favorites for wild card, and it kind of sucks that they're all in the same group. But hey, luck of the draw, life happens. Yeah, IHC definitely, I think, takes the dub against T2K, giving them another point on the board. Now, this is when I think things start to get a little bit interesting. We have Homebois up against BruteForce. This is a tough one because Homebois, I mean, BruteForce, I think are a team that some people think could maybe make it. They're EECA, they're doing well. For me, I personally still kind of feel like EECA has a bit more to prove. Yes, they've been in every M series, but their league is still pretty new. They're only into season 3. I think a lot of teams are still kind of getting the hang of things. I think, You know, players are moving around. BruteForce, you got Fanger from Umbrella Squad, but again, essentially he started this new team. So, I mean, we're still seeing some issues. I've heard that BruteForce like to get a little bit crazy, so maybe they get some sort of surprise pick, but I think Homeboy's steadiness, I don't think any of these gold laners are really messing with nets, and I think in the end, Homeboys will be able to win this one. And that's going to put a point on the board for Homeboys. BruteForce not looking too hot right now, honestly, which is sad. And it really sucks that these are best of ones because in my eyes, I feel like BruteForce could definitely take a game off either of these teams and maybe even turn things around. But in a best of one, I think it's going to be tough. And it's just going to be deadly matches, man. Honestly, and even with it being a best of one, anything could happen, man. T2K could come out on top in their group just because of the fact that it's best of ones. All right, in the second half of day 2, we have IHC up front against Homeboys. I think I get to cast this game, maybe. I can't remember, but either way, IHC up against Homeboys. This is really the decider right here, right? This is the big decider. This is, I think, pretty much who makes it out of groups most likely. Homeboys kind of need to get the dub here if they want to make it out, and IHC also needs to get the dub here. If IHC lost this, we could end up having a draw. Well, it would be 2, and then no, because then Homeboys would have to lose to T2K. So pretty much whoever wins this one comes out on top. And this is a tough one. Like, this is one I almost don't want to make the prediction on. I really wish IHC and Homeboys were on opposite groups, but they're in the same group and one of them is going to have to go because I really would love to see this as more than just a best of one. But I think one of the major defactors could be gold lane, could be nets and gold lane, could just be the experience of Homeboys. Again, IHC might get the upset here. It could definitely happen. I think this is very 50-50, but because I am forced to guess, I think I got to go for Homeboys here. Or do I go for IHC? We're going to go for Homeboys, and that puts Homeboys at 2 points. After that, BruteForce versus T2K. I think BruteForce get the dub here, giving them a point on the board. Won't be enough to get them out of the group. And then last but not least, Homeboys versus T2K. I think Homeboys get the dub here, and that is going to put them at 3 points. So Homeboys will advance from Group B. Group A, Keep Best Gaming will advance, and that will bring us to our final match, which will be on day 3. It'll be a best of 5, in my opinion, versus Homeboys and Keep Best Gaming, which will be kind of interesting, right? Because Sasa is an old Malaysian player, and he'll be up against players that he knows and has played against. Is that going to be enough? Sasa and Jungle, from what I know, Keep Best Gaming really focus and rely on Sasa heavily, and I think Homeboys can extort that. They can use that. Not to mention, I don't think any I forget what his name is, but the gold laner for KBG is going to be able to keep up with nets, like I said before. Maybe KBG takes a game, maybe 2. I don't think they take 2. I think it's very possible this could be a sweep. But yeah, might go 3-1. Who knows? Maybe it goes all the way to 5 games. Let's hope it goes all the way to 5 games. Let's hope KBG gives us some crazy plays. Maybe they even get the upset. But in the end, I got to give this to Homeboys. I think Homeboys comes out a wild card and secures a slot in MSC. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know if there's any hot takes, any big upsets you think could happen, who you think comes out of each group, who you think comes out and gets that MSC slot. That's going to be all for now. See you guys soon. Once again, don't forget to like and subscribe button, and we'll be dropping more content soon.